started biking a few years ago, and I've never felt so empowered by a sport. I finally found a physical activity that I was good at. And these lessons of patience, powering through obstacles, and trusting yourself have literally transpired into every aspect of my life. Yet I'd be riding at downhill resorts back in Jackson. I'd see dudes just in these flying by me in these super loose, stylish jerseys, and I kept thinking, damn it, that's exactly how I want to look and feel. Meanwhile, I'm like barely fitting into my extra large, like constantly pulling on it. And while I would go shop in the women's section, the colors weren't quite right, they were still too short, or I'd shop in the men's section and same thing. Things just didn't quite perform as well. And I started to wonder, did anybody else feeling the same way, having these same problems? So when I started concepting Ride Force just over a year ago, I sent out a survey that asked, are you currently satisfied with jerseys on the market? 59% of respondents said no. They wanted more variety, better fit, and less crazy designs. That's when I decided it was time to force a new option to the market. So, Ride Force challenges you to look at yourself differently by making apparel that makes you both look and feel good on the bike. Because we all know when you look good, you feel good, right? And Ride Force fills a gap in the mountain bike market by offering American-made, inclusively sized, gender-neutral designs that perform. We truly believe that every body, 2 words, deserves to feel badass on a bike and focus on the trail, not the fit of your gear. We did initially focus on women as our target audience, but as the brand has grown and dudes love the designs, gender's become a little bit more fluid, that we decided we care more about size and skill inclusion because this is a very intimidating sport versus just focusing on gender. We truly believe that anybody should be on a bike, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, pro, beginner, everything in between. We really believe that if you feel badass in it, you should just buy it. And our jerseys are all printed in Denver, Colorado with a high-end polyblend mesh that is imported from Italy. And I purposely decided to order from Europe versus Asia to avoid the manufacturing delays, supply chains, ships, don't want to deal with any of that. And I purposely ordered this fabric in bulk so that we can prepare for growth. We're completely made in the US with a really small, tenacious manufacturing team in Denver, Colorado. And that gives me more power over the product. I can tell you exactly who sewed your jersey and who stitched it. Shout out Jenny. And some design features in these jerseys that came out of frustrations with others include these angled shoulder seams to avoid pack rub. They all have a hidden goggle wipe for those dusty, or in my case, sweaty days on the trail. And they have an extended drop tail that's almost 3 inches longer than competitors. The jersey is also entirely SPF 30, and the entire jersey is also made out of that super high-end blend mesh. So the whole thing is super breathable, stretchy, flexible, and just amazingly comfortable. And here on these banners are some of the people that are repping Ride Force. Over here on the bottom here is Joe and Pierre, who are 2 adaptive riders in Jackson Hole that suffered severe spinal injuries from mountain biking, but that did not stop them from getting in the sport. Pierre, we partnered with them and did some collab jerseys. Pierre, this year, it's only his injury was 2 years ago, and just this year was his first time getting back into it and racing. And he competed at Crankworks in Whistler and Sea Otter Classic and got 4th in a Ride Force jersey. Yeah. So, and this here is Kaylee. She's relatively new to the sport, and she finally found a community that was super welcoming, helping her get over milestones. But more importantly, that is the face of Stoke. That is the face that I want everybody to feel when they're wearing these jerseys and when they're associating with our brand. Now, when we talk about the market, it could not have been more perfect timing for me to launch this during COVID when everybody was literally doing anything to get outside. And this is an $887 billion industry, and trail use in the US since 2019 is up 500%. And did anybody in the last couple years struggle to buy a bike, components, anything like that? Yeah, that's because bike sales are up 117%. And that's 95 million Americans that bike, which is more skiers, golfers, and tennis players combined that are taking up the cycling space. Yeah. But aside from the numbers, it's investing in the outdoors that continues to bring us together, and we're investing in ourselves and our communities. And it's times when these economic and political barriers are going stronger and stronger, it's the outdoors that continue to connect us. And Ride Force launched in May of 2021, and I am happy to tell you that we have since sold over 300 units, not a single return, 0. Yeah. Yeah. And we're directly selling to consumer at the moment with some online and some other local shops in Jackson, hoping to expand that more nationally. Our jerseys are a little bit of higher price compared to our direct competitors such as Fox and Troy Lee, but we are on par with more higher end brands such as Mons Royal. The jerseys cost $33.15 per unit to produce and then are then retailed for $80. That gives us a 60% profit margin to then reinvest in the company for donations, scholarships, and other products. And Title IX is the perfect partner for Ride Force because we have a more national audience and help further the mission of everybody on bikes. Our brands are both rooted in recreation, empowering women to get after it, and strive for empowerment. And these jerseys here are an example of some custom Crow-branded ones that we could do for you next year. And while the jerseys are the main foundation of this brand, Ride Force truly aims to create a community of inclusive mountain bikers. Because if I can do this, you can do this, and we should all be riding together. So if you're ready to feel amazing in apparel that you know you can trust, or you want to join a badass community of mountain bikers, we'll see you on the trails with Ride Force. Oh yeah, I gotta go Cassie first. I know what's coming.
I've been nominated. I haven't come up with my question yet, but awesome job.
Thank
so
you.
appreciate what you're doing because I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I am curious about the 100% poly. Obviously, I work in apparel, and just the stink nature of it because we've experienced, or in all the research that I've done, 100% poly holds odor a little bit more. Have you gotten feedback on that or created any anti-odor treatments to
basically because of the perforation that allows for it to like breathe a lot more. I personally have not had anybody complain about the sweat issues, and I sweat outrageously right now.
Yeah.
So but the perforation allows for that breathability and actually like letting the air cycle through more, so we have not had that complaint yet.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
Hi there. I just have a question on product development. So what have you done so far, and how does it help inform the design that you came up with?
I'd originally started, like I said, as a women's brand, so the whole thing was very anti-pink it and shrink it. The jerseys, the designs from the get-go were unisex because I liked that fit better. Plus, because of this fabric and how stretchy it is, you can size down for a more feminine fit, or you can size up for, like, men usually go about a size larger. Honestly, so the collaboration with Teton Adaptive kind of like happened by happenstance. A common side effect from having a severe spinal injury is your nervous system doesn't regulate your body temperature. So these jerseys are actually perfect for them because they are so breathable, and because the drop tail is so much more extended in the back because they sit all day, or they have the forward facing bars, that it's better for them. So I'm keeping some of those features for sure. And just I'm looking into doing a larger size range. Right now we have extra small through 2XL, but I'm hoping to go as far as 4XL.
Got it. So at this point, your styles are unisex?
Yes.
And do you feel like in the future you'll continue with that, or will you kind of diversify based on different
Probably
body
diversify.
types?
I've had a ton of people ask for youth sizing stuff, so I'll probably have maybe some different styles for kids, but also kids want to look like adults, so I'm thinking maybe just kind of keep the designs. But I'm a graphic designer by day, so I feel like a lot of my design style is more influenced on a edgier, I don't want to say masculine edge, but it kind of appeals to both sides. So I think kind of that's the proprietary thing, is my designs and my eye for color theory, fashion trends, etc. is pulled into them.
You may have already answered my question. So storytelling is huge when you're pitching your company, when you're selling online. How are you, and you mentioned you're the graphic designer, how are you telling that story through your graphics, or are you telling that story through your graphics?
How to answer your question? I'm obsessed with triangles. That's where this one came from. So, I think that for me, it's always been, my parents jokingly talk about my name is Taylor Ann, but like they allowed me to choose if I wanted to be Taylor Smith in case I wanted to be a lawyer or something. I have experienced definitely like sexism in the design industry, and like most people don't know I'm female until they meet me. My designs are just very like neutral in that sense. So I think that's kind of where I'm pulling that story in of like, hey, like I'm a designer, I can do it and whatever. So, yeah.
I love your energy. It's so good. I want to send you to every bike shop in the U.S. It's needed. So I guess one question I had was just about your assortment, your line. So you focus mostly on tops, but are you planning to go into shorts, or like in your dream like vision in terms of like in 2023 when a PO might happen, or what's the collection look like at that point?
Yeah, I'd hope to develop pants, because where we are in Jackson at 6,000 feet, our riding season is like ending any day now. So I'd love to develop some pants or make a version of these that are maybe a slightly more insulated layer. Cassie knows pants are a pain in the ass. I just want her to do it. Do shorts, because it's a whole nother level of manufacturing. I have had a lot of people ask about it. It's not something I'm opposed to, especially me as a curvier gal, loving like the little more stretchy, flex-fitting fabrics. I think there is room for me to do that. Just creating some other cool products such as jackets, soft shells, pants, anything to help with those like more mountainous based regions for sure. Yeah.
Congrats on your first 300.
Yeah.
What are you doing to cultivate those customers? Do you have, their contact information, and how are you using them, from a marketing standpoint?
Yeah, thankfully being in the design and marketing industry, like I know what SEO, CRM, all that is. So it's me. I do all the things. It's my number. When you DM me, it's me when you call, whatever. But most of my sales come from events, when people can hear the story, when they can feel it. It's a very competitive market, and most people have their brands that they like to directly go to. So for me, going to various mountain bike events, Sea Otter Classic, Rome, some other local ones, we have like the local shops in Jackson too that sell them. That to me, I think is the biggest hurdle, is getting into more wholesale so people can actually feel the difference and are like, oh God, yeah, of course I would spend an extra $15 more on that, and trying it out. So most of our sales have been in person, but I do have like email marketing, I use social media, I'm trying TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that too. So yeah.
What's your strategy for getting into more retail stores? If do you want to be more at retail or wholesale, and what's your strategy to scale?
Honestly, that's kind of where I'm hoping like Title 9 can kind of help me, because I'm a person of one with, I still have a 9 to 5. So it's like, how do I get to Sedona? How do I get here to Berkeley to get into these bike shops and make those relationships? I do know that my wholesale prices are a little bit higher, but that's the hope, is to create enough demand to then order enough units to lower that price per unit and make the wholesale margins better. Just kind of getting out there. Mostly events have been really helpful. Then I can meet people and they're like, oh, I know a person that knows a bike shop. My mentor, Alexa, was mentioning talking to bike shops in Vermont. So it's just a lot of relationship building at this point.
Did you say what your wholesale pricing is?
I do 45. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys.